The February Ottawa real estate numbers came out, and I want to give you my honest take before the headlines spin this in a direction that doesn't serve you. Because buried inside the data is one signal that tells me exactly where the market's going as we head into the spring. And if you're buying or selling in the next 60 days, you need to understand what it means before you make any decisions. Sales are still down almost 7% from last year, and there are nearly 3,000 active listings sitting on the market right now. And if you own a condo in Ottawa, I have some numbers you seriously need to hear. I just went through the full Ottawa Real Estate Board February 2026 stats line by line, and I'm going to break down exactly what's happening, what it means if you're buying, what it means if you're selling, and the one segment of the market that is quietly outperforming everything else right now. My name is Sernoskie, and I'm a realtor right here in Ottawa with LePage Team Realty, and I've been selling real estate for over a decade. So let's get into it. All right, let's start with the overall market because you need this context before anything else makes sense. In February, 780 homes sold in Ottawa, and that's down 6.8% from February of last year. And that might sound bad, but here's the important thing. That number is actually better than January, where we only saw 610 sales. So we're moving in the right direction, but just slowly. The bigger story is this, that 780 number is 21% below the 5-year average for February, which sits at 990 sales. So we're not just a little slow. This has been one of the slowest winters Ottawa has seen in 10 years. Why? A few reasons. Affordability is a real challenge for a lot of buyers. There's more inventory than we've had in years, nearly 3,000 active listings, so buyers aren't in a huge rush. And with rates where they are, a lot of people who were on the fence last year are still sitting on the fence. But as this is the key thing, demand hasn't disappeared. It's just concentrated. And where is it concentrated? I'll tell you in a second, but first I want to hit the price story because this is where it gets interesting. The average sales price in Ottawa in February was $662,773, and that's down just 1% from last year. The median price was $615,450, and that's down 3.1%. And now I want you to pay attention to those numbers carefully because on the surface, they look like prices are falling. But the MLS Home Price Index, which is a much more reliable measure because it controls for what types of homes are actually selling, tells a different story. The HPI Composite Benchmark in February was 615,400, and it actually went up 1.4% from January. That tells me something important about where we're headed to in the spring. But before I get there, let me break down each segment because not all property types are equal right now, and one of them is in serious trouble. So let's start with detached single-family homes because this is still the foundation of the Ottawa market. In February, 358 single-family homes sold, and that's down 10.9% from last year. The average price was $830,951 and actually up 0.6% year over year. The benchmark price for single-family hit $693,200, and that rose 1.5% from January alone. There are currently 1,353 active single-family listings in Ottawa, and the months of inventory sits at 3.8. That's a balanced market. It's not a seller's market like 2021, but it's also not a buyer's market. It's balanced, which actually means well-priced homes are still selling. And here's what I'm seeing on the ground. There's a significant competition for homes priced under $700,000. Anything that shows well, is priced right, and is in a high-demand area like Barrhaven, Canada, or Orleans, those homes are still moving. The days on market for single family hit 21 days in February. So for context, back in February 2021, the peak of the market, it was 6 days. So yes, things are slower, but 21 days is not a distressed market. And if you're a buyer looking at detached homes in Ottawa, you have more breathing room than you've had in years. And if you find something well priced in a good neighborhood, don't sleep on it. Those are still moving. If you're a seller, pricing strategy matters more right now than it has in 4 years. You can't overprice and expect buyers to chase you down. The days of that are gone. Price it right from day one and you'll sell. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that demand is concentrated in one area of the market, and here it is, townhomes. While every other segment is seeing sales decline year over year, townhomes in Ottawa went the complete opposite direction. In February, 280 townhomes sold, and that's up 13.8% from last year. So let that sink in. Every other segment is down. Townhomes are up almost 14%. Now, average prices on townhomes are down. The average came in at $539,639, down about 7.5% from last year. But here's why that number is misleading. There's more inventory than there was a year ago, so the mix has shifted. But the HPI benchmark for townhomes, which controls for that, is $560,700, and it actually rose 1.3% from January. Months of inventory for townhomes is only 2.7 compared to 5.6 for condos and 3.8 for detached. That is the tightest segment in the entire Ottawa market right now. And why are townhomes winning? Well, it's simple. Affordability meets space. A young family who can't stretch $830,000 for a detached home can still get into a 3-bedroom townhouse in the $500,000 to $600,000 range. And that's where buyer demand is living right now. So if you own a townhome and you're thinking of selling, the spring market is your window. This segment has momentum heading into traditionally what is the busiest time of year. And if you want to know what your townhome is worth right now, message me and I'll tell you. All right, now I have to talk about condos, and I'm going to be straight with you because the numbers are not comfortable. The Ottawa condo market has a real problem right now. In February, only 122 condos sold, and that is down 28.2% from last year. And this is not a new trend. Condo sales have been declining for a while now. And at the same time, active condo listings sit at 685 units. With only 122 sales in the month, that gives us 5.6 months of inventory, and that is the definition of a buyer's market. Put that into perspective. Townhomes are at 2.7, single family, 3.8. Condos are at 5.6. There's a significant oversupply of condos in Ottawa right now. The median days on market for a condo in February was 43 days. Not 3 weeks, but 6 weeks. And year to date, it's sitting at 54 days. The average condo price came in at $428,538, roughly flat year over year at the average level, but the benchmark price is $385,500, and it's down 2.7% from a year ago and 5.4% from 6 months ago. And here's the honest reality. If you own a condo in Ottawa right now and you're thinking about selling, you need to have a real conversation about your price. Buyers are out there, but they have 685 units to choose from, and your unit has to stand out on price, condition, and on marketing. The good news is, and there is good news, is that month over month, condo benchmark prices actually ticked up 1.3% from January. So that suggests the absolute bottom may be stabilizing. But we're not out of the woods yet. If you're a buyer looking at condos, this is generally one of the best buying opportunities in the Ottawa condo market in years. More selection, more negotiating power, and prices have corrected meaningfully from the 2022 peak. And I'll drop a link in the description if you want to book a call to talk through your specific situation, whether you're buying or selling. Now let's zoom out, because February numbers are a snapshot, but what actually matters is where we're headed. The Canadian Real Estate Association is forecasting gradually strengthening demand throughout 2026 as lower borrowing rates work through the system. And the February data is actually consistent with that view. And this is what I'm watching. Number one, benchmark prices moved up across every single segment in February. Composite benchmark pricing for single-family townhouses and apartments are all up month over month. And that's not luck, that's underlying demand firming up. So number two, months of inventory dropped from 4.4 in January to 3.8 in February. Supply is still elevated, but it's moving in the right direction. And number three, sale to list price ratios are holding strong. The average home in Ottawa in February sold for 97.9% of the asking price. That means sellers aren't getting crushed on price. The gap between what sellers want and what buyers will pay is only about 2%. So what does this tell me? It tells me that Ottawa is in a transitional market. We're not in the crash that some people predicted, but we're not heading into the frenzy of 2021. We're in a reset, a more balanced environment where buyers have a real choice and sellers who price correctly are still winning. The spring market is going to be the tell. If mortgage rates continue to ease and buyer confidence comes back, we could see a meaningful pickup in activity starting in March and April. And the inventory base is there to support it. The demand is there, it's just been cautious. The buyers who move in the next 60 days before the competition heats up are going to get the best deals of this cycle. So here's the bottom line. Ottawa's market right now is giving buyers more time, more choice, and more power than they've had since before the pandemic. And it's giving sellers who are serious and priced right a real window before spring competition arrives. The numbers don't lie. And the February numbers are telling me that the shift is starting. If you have questions about your specific situation, whether you're thinking of buying your first home, selling, or moving up, or you own a condo that you're trying to figure out what to do, drop your question in the comments below. I read every single one and I'll connect with you. And if you want to have a real conversation about the market and what it means for you, the link in the bio to book a call is in the description. So if this video gave you a clear picture of what's actually happening in the Ottawa market right now, hit the like button. It helps more Ottawa homeowners find this content. And subscribe if you want the March numbers as soon as they drop. I'm Sernoskie, and I'll see you in the next one.